Hi guys, Morning Brand here again. I guess I just record all my commentary videos in the morning now. I don't know, it's just nice. I just already have my coffee and everything, so it's kind of just very convenient. Anyways, getting off track here. This one's gonna be a little bit more unscripted today. Not that I really script my videos. Usually I leave it down to like 1 or 2 or 3 bullet points, and I kind of just ramble about those and do them the best of my ability to explain them just based on those bullet points. Any sort of like jump cuts and stuff like that is usually because I am either coughing, gassy, or my cat Will is getting to something that he's not supposed to. So but this one's gonna be a little bit more off the handle. Today I want to talk about how just perhaps I and plenty of other content creators are going about the whole like bad take and bad idea thing in the Dead by Daylight community a little incorrectly, and I'm trying to ruminate on how we could possibly do better. So let's go ahead and think aloud for a little bit here, friends. So in the DVD community, I'm always out there like watching tons and tons and tons of streams, just because not only for just, you know, being part of the community, but for the match reviews as well. Obviously, I need to be at least moderately informed about all the characters in the game. So I have to watch a large plethora of people to, you know, keep at least moderate knowledge about all these characters to give somewhat accurate advice. And I somewhat collect a lot of bad takes when I go around the DVD community. I don't go into the weird places like the DVD forums, which are full of those kind of like very, very awful, very, very terrible out of nowhere takes. DVD Twitter is another terrible place for a lot of these very, very awful, very, very off the wall takes. But when I'm out there and I'm watching a ton of streams, I do run into a lot of really, really terrible takes. And usually my response is either shock or laughter, probably both. Laughter because of shock. And I know that's something that I have, you know, has come off very poorly, not been very well received by a lot of people, because obviously if you're laughing because of something that somebody said, a lot of people, the immediate jump is you're laughing at them and not just finding genuine humor in something that they said. I think we as a community can generally do better about engaging in bad takes, or really, really like what we would consider very inaccurate takes about the game, because I think the thing that a lot of us have forgotten, especially when we get like 6k hours into the game, is like we were all there once. I think we've all been at this point where we're like, we didn't understand the game very well, and a lot of things just like frustrated us that we could have done better about. We've all been in a situation while we're playing Killer when we were, you know, newer to the game, where we just thought flashlights were just absolutely uncounterable. Cue the background player makes that happen anyway nowadays, comments down below. But we've all been in that situation before where we feel like flashlights are absolutely uncounterable and there's nothing we can do about it. But now we learned a lot of like tools in our kit to deal with flashlights as we get better at the game, like facing a wall, faking the pickup to bait out the savers so you can go slug them. There's a lot of stuff you can do against flashlights that like you learn as you continue to play the game. But when you're newer into the game, you're gonna say outrageous stuff like, oh, well, flashlights are absolutely overpowered, there's no counterplay and there's nothing I can do. And you're gonna post that on your Twitter, you're gonna post that on the DVD forums, and you're gonna say that they're objectively bad. I think ultimately I do wish, just to play a little bit of devil's advocate, I do wish that DVD players in the DVD community, regardless of skill level, would be a little bit more cautious about like just all-encompassing statements like that, like, oh my god, flashlights are broken and have no counterplay, remarkably, and it just is uncounterable. Like, yeah, well, maybe think, okay, is there something better I can do? I think one of the best things that I saw recently in a friend stream was they were dogging on Singularity. They were like, they played a Singularity a match and they just absolutely hated Singularity. They were like, they had a horrible match. They got like 4 out of it, I believe. It was a bad time. It was a really bad time. It was Grim Pantry though, so like good luck. Yeah, they're on Grim Pantry and they got a really, really awful match with Larry. And then they went into a very, very long explanation on like how he's too hard to learn, he's not fun to play, and when you do get good at him, it's not very gratifying. But like once they came down from those emotions, they asked somebody in their chat, they're like, okay, well, I know you main Larry. Can you explain to me what I could have done better? What was I doing there that wasn't understanding the character? And I wish there was more of that in the DVD community, of just like, yeah, my initial impression is this thing is the way it is. But once I come down from my emotion, what could I have done better? What could I have minimized there? But to circle back around to the point of the video, I do believe that we as a community, especially when we get like deeper and deeper into our playtime, kind of forget what it's like to be somebody who is new and frustrated, or like moderately into the game and frustrated, and just kind of like cement these really, really awful opinions. I feel like we as a community can do better about just empathizing and going, hey, we've been there. I mean, I've been there. You guys know they've been there. Those are you guys that have been with the channel for an incredibly long period of time and know that I've been there. I used to be the very, very same super angry, jaded killer main that, like, you know, floods the DBD community space of just like, oh, survivors can do no right. Anything survivors do is skillless. Killers are just like super oppressed and behavior hates them. I used to have those opinions, and I used to make video after video after video about them. You know why? Because I was fairly new to the game. Like nowadays, you know, when I do the match reviews, I tell people that, like, hey, if you have 1K hours, you're pretty seasoned in the game, and that's when I expect you to know most of your fundamentals. I didn't have 1K hours while making most of those videos. I did not have 1,000 hours while making most of those videos. I was not at the point that current today brand would consider myself experienced, and I was making all these videos as if I was experienced, and they were full of a lot of bad takes, and I don't take those down. And the reason I don't take those down is for that frame of reference of like being humble and realizing, hey, we all have bad takes sometimes. What matters is we recognize those, challenge those, and move on from them, and move on to something healthier for not only yourself but the whole community. But I feel like we as a community can also do better to foster those people's journey to leave and abandon those terrible takes. So instead of just like laughing and just, you know, getting very confrontational, which is something that I do one or the other typically, is I laugh just instinctually, which is something I need to keep that under wraps, or just like, why would you think that? I don't know why you would ever think that. Like, turn that into like, oh yeah, I've been there. It can be pretty frustrating in that situation, but did you try everything? Like, perfect example with the flashlight thing. Like, oh my gosh, flashlights are uncounterable. I don't know what to do. This is the behavior just needs to nerf flashlights into the dirt and never ever have survivors use them ever again. I'll just be like, oh yeah, I've been in that situation where it feels like I can't avoid a flashlight. That we've all been there. It sucks. It can be pretty frustrating. But did you try facing a wall? Did you try baiting the pickup? Did you try? Yeah, and then go into that. Go into like, I get you. I get where you're coming from. I get your feelings, but then try to, you know, very politely try to challenge things, because I feel like it's also part of just like the fact that the DBD community is just so volatile. They just want to like yell at each other, and they're just looking for the first moment to like pounce on each other. I think that's another big thing, but hopefully we can do our part to do better with that. I know I have just been kind of like mostly focused on just being entertaining with a lot of these, like, especially with like the reacts where I laugh at a lot of things I think that are bad ideas or bad takes. But maybe we could all do a little bit better to try and, like, you know, ease them into potentially facing the light, facing the truth, and not like perhaps scare them away and kind of force them into communities that make them double down on their very biased, angry takes, and in that case they never learn, which sucks. So it's one of those things that like I did when I was like a teacher, and I think it's just like I haven't been in the teacher mindset for a while, because I've been out of teaching at this point for like 3 years. Yeah, like 3 years. I've been out of teaching at this point for like 3 years, so it's been a while since I've been a teacher. But like that is like the approach that we use, is like, you know, like, I get why you would think that, but this is the actual answer. That's kind of like the very, that's oversimplifying it, right? But like that's kind of like the general approach. It's like, oh yeah, a lot of people think that, but, you know, so just, you know, we'll have full information. I know this was a little bit more ranty, but I don't know. I just think that like both myself and a lot of the DBD community could probably do a little bit better about challenging and bad takes in the community, and I feel like that would be a better way to go about it. Yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. But that's be it for today's video, friends. Thank you so much for watching. I do upload daily though, so I will see you tomorrow. But if I do not, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.